What is going on, everybody? I am Mike. Welcome back to Tech 24/7 TV. Now it's time to upgrade your iPad, and you've been eyeing the iPad mini 6, which is a great tablet. It's probably one of my favorite devices to use at this moment. And if you're wondering to yourself, is it worth spending $150 to add 5G to this small, powerful tablet? You're not alone. It's a significant amount of money, and it might not even be clear what any advantages or possible disadvantages are. Now, I've owned a cellular-enabled iPad since Apple released the very first one in March 2012, so I have a ton of experience to help you. So in today's video, we're going to cover the cost component, including the new $150 rebate that Apple is offering in conjunction with carriers, how it works with iMessage and FaceTime when you have two devices really sharing the same number, any drawbacks, as well as who should and should not upgrade to 5G on their new iPad mini. Let's get started. Now, today's video, we've broken down into different sections, and I'll have each one of those sections pinned in the first comment below, right below the like button. Now let's talk about the obvious, which is going to be the cost component. Apple allows you to configure any iPad that's currently available today with cellular connectivity, and the cost and capabilities will vary depending on which device you choose. For example, let's just say you choose the 9th generation iPad. That's going to give you 4G LTE only for $130. You can add 5G to the iPad mini 6 for $150, or compared to the iPad Pro 11 and 12.9 inch, you can add a faster, more robust version of 5G with millimeter wave on the 11-inch and 12.9-inch M1 iPad Pro. Now, Apple's partnered with many different carriers around the world to incentivize consumers like you and me into purchasing a cellular-enabled iPad. Now, depending on which carrier you choose, that incentive is going to come back to you either in a Visa prepaid gift card or a carrier-specific rebate. Now, for example, if you say you activate here on Verizon in the United States, you're going to get a $150 credit about 8 to 10 weeks after that iPad has been activated in the form of a carrier credit, which can be used like on a bill to purchase accessories or to buy a device. Now, the credit doesn't change the fact that you got to pay for the device up front, and it doesn't change the fact that you still need to pay for the monthly service plan up front. And that monthly service plan is going to be different depending on which carrier you choose and how much data that you need. Now, I think this goes without saying, but if you're someone who doesn't think that you're going to be able to take advantage or reap the benefits of being able to use your iPad mini 6 while you're out and about, like you don't have use cases that would be able to benefit from that, you certainly should not pay the additional money. That's not necessarily a value add for you as an individual. That is unless you like optionality or simply you have money to burn. That said, if you appreciate ubiquity, flexibility, and security, you at least want to consider getting the 5G version of the iPad mini 6. Now, in my opinion, the size and design of the iPad mini 6 really plays into that the device should be used in a mobile-first context, and the device really shines when you are able to use it while you are out and about. As I discussed in my 30-day review, this device goes in my man bag. I take it with me everywhere I'm going nowadays, and it really is my everyday companion. It doesn't matter whether I'm like at the grocery store checking off items off my grocery list, maybe I'm at a coffee shop replying to emails, or whether I'm in a car on a road trip using it for GPS. This comes with me everywhere I go now. And in my opinion, having a cellular connection on the iPad mini 6 is really essential because of the device's keen sense of portability and the fact that it's conformable to many different use cases where you might not think that it would be. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does number sharing work? What happens? Do I get a separate number? So when you activate this with a cellular plan, you do get a separate number, but that number is kind of transparent to anyone else. And all people know are either your iPhone telephone number or your email address that you have registered for iMessage and FaceTime. You don't need to worry about giving anyone a separate phone number to contact. It's all done kind of behind the scenes with this device. The high degree of conformability that I mentioned a few minutes ago is only multiplied when you take in consideration that iPadOS itself is optimized to take advantage of 5G as well. This optimization means that the iPad mini and the iPad Pro can perform an iCloud backup, iPadOS software updates, and make and receive higher quality FaceTime HD calls all over the 5G network. And you're getting the benefit of having a always-on GPS connection, which means is that you can use this while you are, in the car navigating, if you want to use it in a road trip, or have it while navigating a new city, making the cellular option almost essential in my opinion. I think it's a natural reaction right now. If you were thinking, Mike, why would I pay, for a cellular connection on this device when I can simply tether it to my iPhone and call it a day? Which really makes sense. You don't need to worry about any type of monthly service charges. You don't need to worry about if the carrier loses your rebate and trying to resubmit the rebate, that was a whole nother pain, but that's another story, which I would agree to. There are several use cases where, it doesn't make sense, for everyone to buy a 5G enabled iPad. And that's certainly not what I'm suggesting. But what I am here to do is give you the information needed to make an educated decision based on pros and cons from my experience. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know that while cost is an important consideration, it is not really the primary filter that I pass purchase decisions through, where I am more going along the side of experience and value more so than dollars and cents. Now, the one scenario that's been constant through this video is that maybe you're the individual who only uses their iPad in one location or maybe 2 locations. You could tether your iPhone to your iPad and, like I said, just call it a day. But if you're anything like me, having an always-on secure connection on the most powerful tablet that I have with me is something that sounds very appealing, especially if you are someone who values convenience over cost. Now, I don't know what your carrier charges for an iPad-enabled cellular plan, but I know my carrier charges $10 a month based on the number of lines I have, and it's unlimited. You want to check with your carrier for what their individual plans cost. But for $10 a month, this is really about convenience, and $10 a month is really far less than I would expect to extract from this device in terms of convenience. This makes the benefits of having an always-on cellular connection on the iPad mini really almost outweigh the cost of $10 a month. Now, the second objection is going to be about tethering. Tethering your iPad to your iPhone is radio intensive to the same way that towing a trailer behind your car is. And if we use that analogy, we can extract 2 different things from the situation. One, you're going to get battery drain on your iPhone faster than you would be if you were not tethering your iPad to it. And 2, you're going to get less than optimal network results on your iPad than you would if you had a dedicated radio connection. I am not trying to raise my battery anxiety anymore, even if the iPhone 13 Pro Max battery is amazing. I'm simply trying to solve for convenience. Now, in addition to that fact, an iPad that is directly connected to a cellular network will always be faster than an iPad that is connected through a proxy device like your iPhone. That's because the connection between your iPad and your iPhone is coming over Wi-Fi, and depending on the age difference between your iPad and your iPhone, you might need to trade off compatibility for performance. Now, it is decision time, and I want to equip you with as much information as possible so you can make an educated decision. We talked about the upfront cost of $150 if you want to purchase the cellular-enabled version of the iPad mini 6, or even $200 for the iPad Pro. And we talked about the $150 credit that carriers are offering in conjunction with Apple when you sign up for the service. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons of that decision. First and foremost, it's ubiquity. Having an always-on 5G connection gives you the convenience to use your iPad mini 6, or again, even the iPad Pro, on your terms whenever and wherever you want to. You don't need to worry about connected to untrusted or unsecure Wi-Fi networks, nor do you need to worry about excessive battery drain on the device that is maybe hosting it or tethering to. Additionally, you're going to get the added benefit of notifications and processes happening on the iPad mini, no matter where you're at, and you're allowing your iPhone to remain usable for mission-critical tasks. Because again, if you are tethering your iPad to your iPhone, you're getting that intensive battery drain. It's possible that you might not have your iPhone available to you when you want to because of that battery drain. Second, it's about flexibility. Since I'm purchasing my iPad mini directly from Apple and not from the carrier like AT&T or Verizon or Sprint, whomever, I have the ability to activate this device on a plan with my carrier of choice. Today, I can maybe switch carriers next month, or I can cancel it altogether. There's no contract because it is a device that I am bringing to them, again, giving me the flexibility to use this device how and when I want to. Now, there are going to be restrictions based on when you get the rebate and how long you need to keep it activated for. That's what I referred to earlier in terms of the terms and conditions. But I can really take this device and use it on any carrier, assuming that the carrier supports the device. Now, the lack of contract gives me the flexibility to use the iPad mini 6's cellular connection how and when I want to, which is great. Again, I like optionality. I might have Verizon today and Verizon might make me mad. I'm going to leave Verizon and go to AT&T tomorrow. I still have the same device. I'm not tied to a contract, and this device works with that carrier. Additionally, I have the ability to take my iPad mini while I'm abroad. I can, take this device and activate it on a prepaid plan. There's many different carriers that you could choose from in terms of activating a prepaid SIM right through the App Store. And it gives me the flexibility, again, to use this device on my own terms. I don't need to worry about anyone else. I could even take this device and when I'm maybe in a car trip, and I could share my broadband connection with my son's Wi-Fi only iPad. Again, giving him the added benefit of this service. And finally, it is about security. Having, again, an always-on secure connection from my device to wherever. I don't need to worry about connecting to unsecure Wi-Fi networks, insecure Wi-Fi networks. It's just peace of mind. And for $10 a month, I don't know about you, that is peace of mind. Now, when I combine all those three, ubiquity, flexibility, and security, there is really a different picture, in my opinion, which is painted about getting 5G on the iPad, whether it's the iPad mini or the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And I think that everyone should consider it, though I don't think it is for everyone based on your use cases. Now, after all that said, this would be a very different conversation if Apple was not partnering with carriers to offer that $150 or $200 rebate for the iPad mini 5, for the iPad mini 6, or the 11-inch or the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. But they are, and it's a benefit to you and I. Thank you very much for watching my video on whether or not you should choose 5G for your iPad mini. Now, let me know in the comments below if you already have an iPad 5G, whether it's an iPad mini or an iPad Pro. I really use the heck out of this service, and again, I think it's essential, you should at least consider it. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below, and if you have another Ask Mike topic that you want me to cover, use the hashtag AskMike along with that topic. I'll talk to you in the next one.